This is Covey Christ, and you're listening to Tapped Out Interviews. I'm gonna pray for you.
Hello and welcome to Tapped Out Interviews. I'm your host, Lewis Carlin, and we're part of the Tapped Out Wrestling Podcast Network. You can follow me on Twitter at Tapped Out Lewis. And today, man, what can I say? I'm very, very excited. My next guest has been on before. Had a great interview with him the last time, and I'm very, very thrilled that he's back today. He's an Atlantic Canada superstar, absolutely tearing it up in Atlantic Canada right now. I'm very excited to welcome back the one and only Covey Christ. Covey, welcome back to the show, my man.
Lewis, thank you for the crazy introduction, man. Thank you very much for having me.
Hey, you're welcome. You're welcome, man. So I wanted to ask right off the bat, I noticed you shaved your beard. How did you come to that decision to shave the beard?
That wasn't so much a decision as much as it was a shaving mishap.
Okay.
But we'll just say, I lost my maritime title. And with that, I think I lost, like Samson, I lost a bit of my power.
Okay.
So, a cathartic release of the power, a release of the beard. I'll regrow it, and I'll come back stronger.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, did you lose some of your strength after you shaved it? But I see the beard now in the most recent pictures. The beard is starting to come back, so that's good. You look very diabolical with the beard. So I think it fits you well. So hopefully you'll grow it back in full.
Dude, thank you very much. I'm a big fan of the beard as well. It keeps me looking meaner. I got a baby face, so I gotta hide that thing.
Yeah, you look a little cute right now. You look very cute.
Yeah, it's a problem. Yeah, it's a problem. Me and Chip Chambers had a match recently, and it was a problem looking across the ring at him and thinking, we kind of look like we're the same age right now, and I can't deal with that.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, the beard will be back before you know it, man. So.
Yes, sir.
So what's new? What's new in the world of Covey Christ right now? I know you got a lot of things going on. So what's happening, man?
Just expanding the brand at this point in time. Branching out, making some new contacts, working for a couple of new promotions. Heading up to Montreal this weekend, and then 2019 I'll be working for IHW here in the Maritimes for the first time, and
okay.
That's exciting.
Okay.
A lot of big bodies over there, so a lot of tall guys that I'm going to have to topple. So that's a cool new challenge for me. And making contacts, trying to see if I can get myself overseas sooner rather than later here, since I got a passport in hand.
There you go. And I was going to ask the question a little later, but you brought up IHW. So how did that come about? I know you've been in the UCW for quite some time, but you're going to IHW. So how did that come about? And have you set your sights on anybody specifically in IHW?
No, that came about. I'm constantly desiring to learn. It's a passion of mine, an obsession, really. And IHW has people that I've never gotten to wrestle. I've never gotten a chance to learn and develop with those people. And so there's a lot of bodies there that I know myself I would be remiss 5 years from now if I never got to challenge myself against some of those legends of maritime wrestling. So specifically, not that I'm calling these people out by any means, but your Mike Hughes, your Brody Steeles, your Tituses, even up and coming legends, giant like Charlie Winston from the UK, even Maddison Miles, who I beat her before, and I'd fight her again. They're people that I can challenge myself against. And learn from and develop with. And that has zero to do with UCW. I love UCW and what I've done there in the past year. and would desire to continue doing and maintaining the momentum that I carried from last year there as well.
Now, you mentioned Maddison Miles. There's a video of you versus Maddison Miles, and it has 1.7 million views. That's incredible.
Yeah.
So 1.7 million people know who Covey Christ is right now. That's gonna be very exciting. I mean, what are your thoughts about that? 1.7 million people, and obviously they've seen it not because of Maddison Miles, but because Covey Christ is in the match. But how does that feel? 1.7 million people, man.
It's I'll tell you two things there. One, Maddison Miles is the craziest heat magnet on the internet for people.
Okay.
Her matches draw crazy numbers. It's incredible. I think she has a match against Kelly Klein that has like 3.5 or 4.5 million views now. Like,
wow.
Maddison draws insane numbers on the internet. But that match, that's humbling. That's the only way of explaining that. Like 2 years ago when I started getting back into being a pro wrestler, that's the goal, is to have a large amount of the world's population knowing who you are, even if they've just seen you for a moment, even if they've just seen you for a second. Mm-hmm. Just having that moment of being in front of that large an audience, that's cool. And a large amount of that audience online is Indian.
Okay.
And that's a big goal for myself in 2019, is to wrestle in India.
Okay, well, I was only kidding about, Maddison Miles, very, very talented wrestler.
Oh, crazy talented. She's just, it's a crazy thing right now how much she draws attention online. Like, it's fantastic.
Yeah, now she's wrestling all over the world right now. I remember a few years ago she wasn't that big, and I tried to get her on the show a couple of times. We couldn't work on dates, but I think she'll be very, very difficult to get now. But she's just all over the place right now. Definitely a future superstar.
She is so busy. Yeah, so busy.
Yeah, well, it's 1.7 million people knowing who you are. I could talk to each one of them and let them know that you yourself are a future superstar. So, if you ever need me to go look for these 1.7 million people, I can sit them down and talk to them and give them the scoop on Covey Christ, man.
Lewis, I'll send you out there into the world, brother.
All right, man. I'll do it. I'll do it for you, man. I'll do it for you.
You can be a missionary of Covey.
There you go. I'd be more than happy to do that, man. I'd be more than happy. Do I get my own T-shirt that says "I'm a missionary of Covey"? That would be a good T-shirt, actually. That would be a great T-shirt.
We'll get white collared shirts and we'll get them monogrammed for you.
That's the deal, man. I'm going to hold you to that. Man. Now you've wrestled since we last spoke. You've wrestled many stars. I think the last time we spoke, you had just had the match with Space Monkey, and we were talking about that. But since then, you've been in with Matt Angel, Scotty O'Shea, Carter Mason, which was a fantastic match, by the way. Marcus Burke, El Reverso, PWA last year. How does the Covey Christ of today compared to the Covey Christ from maybe a year ago or 2 years ago?
Night and day. The advancement in the past year has been remarkable, and I owe that a lot to those around me, who have taken time with me, who have offered me advice, who have taken me under their wing, and the literal hours per day that I spend studying and trying to figure out my craft. This year has changed me dramatically from being a very basic wrestler who could carry a match well, who knows how to move, who knows how to work, who can win matches, who knows how to tap an opponent out, who's there, to somebody who can wrestle any style against any opponent of any size. I'm wrestling guys who are over 250 pounds regularly, and I have zero issue with that. I wrestle guys that are under 150 pounds, and that's the best time ever, because I can throw those guys around for days. Mm-hmm. matches against, like you said, guys like Matt Angel, Travis Toxic, Dick Durning, Dynamite Dylan Davis, Scotty O'Shea, Riddick Stone. Like, these are matches that changed me this year and taught me a lot about developing myself.
Well, Matt Angel, you beat him twice, two really, really good matches. He's currently the C4 heavyweight champion, and C4 is a huge promotion here in Ottawa, in Ontario, I should say. Should maybe I know Dr. Bob. He's the commentator for C4. I should let him know that you defeated their champion twice. That you deserve a shot at for the C4 championship. What do you think? You want me to get him on the phone after we're done?
Yeah, let me tell you, there's a few big wins that I've held in the past year that I would hold myself against some of the top competition in Canada, and that includes, the Matt Angels, the Covey Dursts, the Josh Alexanders, the Aiden Princes, the Holden Albrights, the All Ego Ethan Pages. Like, I'd hold myself against most of those opponents and desire to work them so that I can prove myself against them. Because if I can beat someone like Matt Angel in back-to-back nights, if I can beat someone like Travis Toxic, who has held major wins in the Quebec scene for years, I beat Dick Durning, and that guy's nearly the heavyweight champion of the Maritimes over Marco Estrada. If I hold those wins, I think I can hold myself against just about anyone in Canada.
Now, you mentioned Dylan Davis. I know you developed quite a feud with Dylan Davis, and he's currently the UCW NSPW Maritimes champion. Unfortunately, you lost the title. How did that feud begin? Because that was a couple of series of good matches you had with Dylan Davis. How did that feud begin, and when did you get your shot at trying to regain the title?
To answer the second question first, I have no idea when I get my rematch. I was unpinned. Dynamite Dylan Davis never beat me for that title. So, in my mind anyway, he's kind of a paper champion. He's carrying around a belt that's somebody else's, which is nice. You pin Dylan Donovan, and that's fine. But you didn't pin Covey Christ. So he's a paper champion in my mind for now. Although that's to take nothing away from Dynamite Dylan Davis. He is one of the best wrestlers in Atlantic Canada. The best physique possibly in all of Canada. The dude looks like $1 million. He is the best wrestler to come from Newfoundland, and he was the face of NEW, New Evolution Wrestling, and he put them on the map. If it wasn't for Dylan Davis, most people wouldn't even know they existed. That kid's amazing. Our rivalry boiled down to just mutual animosity and respect more than anything. I disliked the fact that he danced in a wrestling ring, and I think he disliked the fact that I did yoga in a wrestling ring. I think it just boiled down to the fact that we were two very different people who respected each other for our art and for our work and wanted to prove that we were better. I don't know about anybody else, but I don't think that's been proven in either direction yet. I'm fairly certain in 2018, he and I fought like 13 or 14 times in singles competition.
Okay.
And I'm pretty sure we're even in wins and losses. So I hats off to him. I think he's one of the best wrestlers that I've ever worked, but we'll see about a rematch. Thought
just popped into my head. Do you think you guys could do a 60-minute Ironman match? You and Dylan Davis?
I think I could work 60 minutes against anyone in Canada.
Okay, there you go. Have you ever thought about going after Marcus Burke in the UCW heavyweight title? I know you had a match once before, not in the UCW, which Marcus Burke, he defeated you. But have you thought about going after the UCW heavyweight title?
Yeah, no, that's very much in my sights. Like I said, I wasn't pinned once in 2018 inside of a UCW ring. I have beaten some of the top names in Canada. In my eyes, I think I'm the best competition that Marcus Burke could put against himself at this point in time.
Okay, actually, Justin Newhook, I just asked him if he wanted me to ask you anything. He just sent me a quick message. I'll just ask you now. He wants to know your favorite memory with Sabotage.
Oh God, favorite memory with Sabotage. My favorite memory with Sabotage has to be sharing a hotel room with bloody sheets and gigantic spiders crawling around on the walls, and listening to Justin throw a flipper on hotel management as me and Connors tried desperately to strip the mattresses of everything that was on them. And no memory about Miramichi is good. Zero memory of Miramichi.
Like, how big were these spiders? I mean, are they you said huge spider. I mean, I have a spider phobia. I can't stand spiders, but how big were they? Oh,
this thing was like half the size of a $5 bill. Like,
oh my God.
It was ridiculous. I've never seen something like that when I wasn't in BC. Like, BC is just a creepy place. Everything's bigger there and weird. But this spider looked like it could take me down if it wanted to. Like, if it went in for a single leg, I'm pretty sure it could have taken me down.
Well, like, what hotel? Can I ask the name of the hotel he was staying at with all these spiders on the wall?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay.
It was after a show. I may have been a little inebriated at that point in time. It was about 2 hours after we had tore down the ring that we showed up at the hotel, and I don't remember very much about the hotel other than the workers next door were workers of the night, not wrestling workers, but workers of the night were in the hotel room next to us, and they were very inebriated and very loud and rambunctious, and they were most of our excitement for the night. Was laughing at them before we found the bloody sheets and we all threw a little bit of a flipper.
They seem like legit badasses in real life. Those two guys. Is that true? That are they as badass outside the ring as they are inside the ring?
They're two very large men. They're both over 6'2". They're both over 200 pounds. They're about as tough as they come. There's a reason we roll together.
Okay.
They're big softies. Don't get me wrong.
Okay.
They love cats. They love dogs. They love animals.
Okay.
They're good family men. They're good people. But there's a reason we roll together. I hold myself like I'm 8 feet tall, and so do they. So, good people to have around.
All right, man. Cool. So, let's get back out. Let's get back on track with.
Yes, sir.
So when did hashtag backhands begin? When did the whole backhand movement start? Because last time we were speaking, I don't think you were doing backhands. I think you were doing yoga. But it seems that you're doing it's mainly back. Everyone's getting a backhand now. So when did that all begin, and how did that all begin?
Backhands actually goes back to my ultimate Frisbee days.
Okay.
I have a very formidable backhand. I have a very formidable forehand, overhand, and discus throw as well, and my thumber is deadly. But my backhand happens to be my best throw. And so after I would score points in Ultimate Frisbee, a few of my friends, guys that I was regularly teaming with, and I would come up and throw backhands to each other.
Okay.
And it was a high five that used the back of our hand. And most people didn't like doing it because, you're smacking knuckles off each other. But those who enjoyed doing it. And it just kind of evolved from there slowly as just a way of greeting that I developed. I used it when I hitchhiked across Canada. I used it when I was living on farms. And then when I showed up in the maritime wrestling scene, I just threw up backhands to a few of my boys when I was at training.
Okay.
Just messing around in the ring together, and everybody just started backhanding, and now it's turned into like a kind of a community greeting. I can't meet with my boys without them throwing up the backhands.
Okay.
I can't hang out in the back without getting backhands. When I say goodbye to people, they throw up the backhands.
Okay.
The crowd, when I come out, throw up the backhands. It's just kind of developed naturally as a thing that people just saw that I did and started doing it.
All right. Well, I just threw up a backhand to you, by the way. My backhand just went up.
Backhands to you, Lewis.
Okay. Now, there's actually Ultimate Frisbee. I was going to talk about that a little later, but you mentioned it. So were you in a league, or what kind of? You said you used to your Ultimate Frisbee days. So were you in a league, or what were you doing with Ultimate Frisbee?
So when I suffered my 10th concussion through wrestling,
okay.
I had gone back home for a short period of time. What was supposed to be a short period turned into 2 years. And during that time back in Cape Breton Island, I met a group of musicians and artists, teachers, just eclectic weirdos that all played Ultimate Frisbee together. And we were, the only way that I could explain it is, like an anarchist communal collective of individuals. They all just got together whenever they were free, went to the same field around the same time, and played games of Frisbee that were self-organized.
Okay.
It was kind of like an intramural league that developed, and eventually we ended up with like 60 people, very competitive, some like tiered levels of experience. So there was 10-year-olds playing with us and 45-year-old teachers playing with us, and also 20-year-old athletes, and it was a lot of fun. It was it kept me in shape. It kept me running. It kept me moving during the worst parts of my depression, during the worst parts of my post-concussion syndrome. That was like the one thing that I looked forward to, was even if it was 5 minutes of running around before I started seeing stars at first, it was the happiest 5 minutes I got that week.
Okay. And
so that community of people are amazing and indispensable. They are responsible for building me as a dude.
Okay.
And then I traveled Canada. I played Ultimate Frisbee in Ontario. I played Ultimate Frisbee in BC. And then now that I'm back here, I played occasionally with some of the people that I wrestle with.
All right, cool, man. Cool. And
yeah.
Sounds like fun. I've never actually played Ultimate Frisbee. I don't even know how to play the game, but sounds fun. I think I'm going to look it up, and if you're ever down in Ontario, maybe we could get a couple of people together and play Ultimate Frisbee.
Lewis, I promise you, if I'm in Windsor during the spring or summer, we are going to get a game of Ultimate Frisbee going. I'm sure that I can get enough bodies together. I guarantee that I can get enough bodies together. And we'll have a game. It's kind of like it's soccer and football kind of combined together with zero physical contact. So no one hurts each other. No one ends up beat up afterwards. Everyone can go to their job the next day. But it's more an endurance sport. You're running back and forth and back and forth and back and forth.
All right. So
loads of fun.
When you're here, let's get people and let's have a game of Ultimate Frisbee.
Brother, I'm throwing out the challenge right now. I'm throwing this out. Aiden Prince. And El Reverso. Phil Atlas. I'm throwing it down to Pudge Roberts and to my favorite referee Holler. I'm throwing it down to all of those people in Windsor, and if they hear this, and I'm sure they will, get your teams together, boys. Covey's coming.
All right, man. Just give me 1 second. Covey is coming. That sounds good.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was getting another call. I just had to cancel the call.
We'll have Team Aiden Prince versus Team Covey Christ in Ultimate Frisbee.
That would be fantastic. I was going to mention maybe we should get Aiden Prince, but I wasn't sure if I should attach his name to an Ultimate Frisbee game. But I'm glad you mentioned it. A big Aiden Prince fan. We'll love to have.
I'm calling him out.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Ultimate Frisbee style.
Yeah, no, it's going to happen. We're going to do it. I I would want to be on Team Covey. I'd be on Team Covey. So hopefully,
that's a good call.
You
that's a very good
pick
call,
me
Lewis.
first. Pick me first when you're choosing teams.
We'll see who gets picked first. I'm
Okay.
not sure about that. If Daryl Strawberry's around, I might have to pick him first.
Okay. Now, does El Reverso have to wear the mask, or can he play without the mask?
Oh my God, yeah, of course he has to wear the mask. If he doesn't wear the mask, he's not El Reverso anymore.
That's true.
Who knows who he is under that thing?
Yeah, no, that's true. I would have to get him with the mask.
I've drove with him before and he didn't take the thing off.
He didn't take the mask off. Okay, wow.
No, he drove with the mask on. It was ridiculous.
I spoke to him. He's very, very dedicated to what he does, man. He's very, very, very talented. I know you've been in the ring with him, but a very, very talented wrestler there.
I've known him for 14 years now.
Okay.
He is one of the most dedicated, hardworking, and passionate dudes I've ever met in my life. When I met him at 18, he was the coolest person I met. He was to me, he was like a person to aspire to be. He was my aim and my goal at that point. If I could aspire to be him, then I could move forward and eventually find my goals. But he was my benchmark. I knew by the time I landed where he was, he would already be he'd be a superstar, because the guy's he's ridiculous. His talent inside of a ring is amazing.
Oh yeah.
People are just scratching the surface of seeing what he can do in a ring, but he's a shooter. That kid, his submission skills are ridiculous. His Greco-Roman grappling skills are ridiculous. His strikes are stiff as hell.
Okay.
Most people just know him as an aerialist right now.
Okay.
But that, I've never been in a ring with a guy. It's like Aiden Prince. They're just such complete wrestlers. They're terrifying. I don't know how to wrestle most of those guys, because I'm a very 2-dimensional, 3-dimensional wrestler. They've got 5 dimensions. They're freaky.
Yeah, man. I want to mention, actually, I just remembered Aiden Prince is actually going to be on the show next week, so I'm going to bring up this Ultimate Frisbee Challenge that you just laid down.
Right.
See what he says. And El Reverso, I saw him at PWA against Josh Alexander. Absolutely phenomenal match, man.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was
ridiculous.
It was a ridiculous match, man. So speaking of Ontario, there's a little rumor going around that you may or may not be coming back to Ontario to wrestle. Want to shed any light on that?
Yeah, I have been in some preliminary discussions with a few promotions in Ontario, and it looks like February likely I will be back in the province of Ontario again, exactly 1 year after I was last there. And I can't give specifics,
okay,
but I can say that I will be there in February, and that it looks like I'll be spending most of my birth month there.
Okay, because you did tweet out that Ontario has lots of people you'd like to kick in the face in 2019, and those dreams are about to become a reality. So,
it sure does.
So that's why I was thinking he might be coming back to Ontario. But hey, if I'm in Windsor, if you're anywhere near Windsor, I know you were in PWA last year, but if you're in Kitchener or London or even in Windsor, I'm there 100%, man. I've been wanting to meet you for a long time. I want to get my Covey Christ shirt, and so just when you're able to talk about it, let me know. I'll definitely be there 100%.
Oh, Lewis, as soon as I've got the specifics pounded out to those dates, you will be the first to know, and I promise you, you'll get your Covey Christ shirt, and we'll get a picture with the backhands tossed up together.
All right, absolutely, man. Absolutely, 100%. I'm looking forward to that, man. Holden Albright, you mentioned him earlier. I know, I've tweeted the stuff out. I would love to see Holden Albright one-on-one with Covey Christ. Both you and Holden responded to it. Tried to get something from Holden to ask you, but I wasn't able to get a hold of him. But what would happen? You and Holden Albright go one-on-one. I think it'll be a tremendous match, but, take me through that match. You think the building can hold the both of you in the ring? It would be just a tremendous match, you against Holden Albright.
I would have a blast getting to fight Holden, and that's honest to goodness. I don't know if a ring or a building or a city or a country can hold us. That's the type of guy that I would have a blast beating the shit out of all over Canada. I don't know if he understands how much joy I would get out of this, but he made reference to a fight on a river at some point in time. This was close to a year ago. He wanted to have a riverboat fight,
okay.
and that's a desire of mine, is to beat the shit out of Holden Albright on a riverboat, because it would just be a joy watching him. I mean, he's huge, he's strong, he's insane, and he likes getting the crap beat out of him. Those are all things that I love in an opponent, because I like beating the crap out of people that are larger than me. I like showing people that I'm as tough as the people they view as tough. And Holden, I mean, a lot of people view him as tough because he is. That'd be an awesome opponent to have across the ring for me.
Absolutely, and I've seen him. I was at the Destiny show where he was 1-on-1 with Stone Rockwell, which was a terrific match. Very, very talented. Big fan of Holden Albright, and that wolf mask. And does that intimidate you at all? That wolf mask, or are you not intimidated at all?
No, I want to pet the puppy.
Okay.
Take him for a walk. Hang out with him. No, it's I love the fact that he's as twisted as he is. That's the part of him that I get. That's the part of him that I understand. The part of him that I can agree with. You know, that I get.
Well, he took the mask off before the match with Stone Rockwell, and then the fans just started chanting, "Put the mask back on! Put the mask back on!" So that was it. So it was,
beautiful.
Yeah, great match with Stone Rockwell. Not the VIP show. There was a VIP show recently. You impromptu match with Chip Chambers, a former. I think last time we spoke, you had a huge feud going on with Chip Chambers. But you guys joined forces in this one. You were attacked by a new faction called, if I'm not mistaken, Legit. So
yes,
are the
sir.
Issues between you and Chip Chambers, are that something of the past now? Has it been resolved, or do you still harbor ill feelings towards Chip Chambers?
I can't say that I feel ill feelings toward Chip Chambers anymore. I pitied Chip last year when we fought. I gained respect for Chip through our battles. Watching him get destroyed by the American Patriot this past year, again, I gained respect for him while at the same time feeling pity watching him destroyed like that. My match against him at VIP was nothing personal. It was just a gentlemanly competition, if you will. And again, I respect that he is a great wrestler, so I can't hate him.
Okay.
If I respect him.
All right, there you go. Fair enough. And I want to go back to Space Monkey for a second. I remember last time we spoke as well. You had the match with Space Monkey, and I remember Space Monkey was upset, claiming that you cheated. Said he wanted a rematch, but I don't think that rematch is ever going to materialize, is it? Or is that just a complete thing of the past right now?
No, I assume that would. We'll probably cross paths again someday. I doubt that it'll ever be a rematch, as our story from that promotion is something of the past.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
If he holds animosity from me, stretching is what that accounted to. Was just I was stretching. My hamstring had a cramp in it. I stretched. My leg hit him in the groin. I will extend myself at this point as the bigger man. As the bigger monkey, I extend myself by saying, I'm sorry that my leg hit him in the groin. I'm sorry that cost him the match.
There you go. Okay. I think the match was for Wrestle Center, but they're long gone. think they're ever coming back, and we don't need to talk about them because I know a lot of wrestlers have a lot of bad stories about that promotion. So we won't even bring that promotion up, even though I already did. But I'm not going to discuss it.
The bad juju.
Yeah. Brian Cage is coming to UCW.
Yeah, man.
What do you think I think he's got a match, with Marcus Burke, if I'm not mistaken, or I think it's a triple threat match, Burke and Estrada against Brian Cage. Is he gonna possibly feel a Covey Christ backhand if he starts talking smack about Covey Christ?
I have no idea what'll happen on that night. To be honest, I'm not gonna throw down any challenges or anything like that. But he's an incredible wrestler, a physical freak, just a specimen to watch. So it'll just be interesting just to be around him, learn from him, and who knows? Who knows? If he calls me out, we'll see what happens.
All right, you could bring Justin and Matt Connors down, and the three of you could take out Brian Cage. That'll.
I'm sure I wouldn't need the help, but the help is always desired.
Okay, man. Can I ask you about the NWE Elite title? Can we talk about that, or is that something you don't want to talk about?
No, absolutely. You can talk about that,
because I know, you were the NW. Did I say NWA or did I say NW?
No, NWE.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I thought I said NWA, sir. NWE Elite title. You were the champion, and then you vacated the title. I'm not sure what quite happened there. Was there something with the promotion going on, or what happened with the title?
No, just miscommunication with management.
Okay.
And I just had other dates that I was currently making at that point in time, and so we just mutually decided no longer to work together.
Okay, fair enough. That answers my question, Covey.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. So you mentioned before you have your passport, you want to travel. Are there any promotions? Sure. Any promotions out there? Like right now, you got Major League Wrestling, you have Evolve, you have Ring of Honor, Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. A lot of really good independent wrestling, Black Label Pro in the States. Is there a promotion that you're hoping to work for, that you would like to get down to the States and work for?
Every promotion you just mentioned are incredible.
Okay.
And there's 1,000 more that I could probably name off right now on that list as well. My goal in 2019 is to make myself an international name. So at this point in time, any company that wants to bring in Covey Christ should contact Covey Christ. I have been in contact with a great deal of promotions overseas currently and in the States, and it looks like I will be traveling more than I am local in 2019. So it's an exciting time for me. It's an exciting time to be a fan of Covey Christ, and for all those promotions looking at bringing me in, it's an exciting time for their roster because it's gut check time. I'm not just another wrestler. As I said, I think I'm one of the best in Canada, and I consider myself potentially one of the best in the world. So it's check time now for everyone.
Well, you don't have to convince me, man. I know exactly how good you are. I said I've been a fan ever since you snuck up behind Ronnie Broom on the show. I was, I told you last time, I was like, who is this creepy guy? But I was like, I want to see him again. I want to see this guy again. Ever since that, I've been a Covey Christ fan, and you cutting promos. You cut a phenomenal promo when you put the promos up on Facebook. Just tremendous promos that you're cutting, and I became a big fan, and you know that I promote you as much as I can, man, because I'm a Covey Christ guy. So I really hope that
means the world, Lewis.
Hey, my pleasure, man. And all these promotions are going to find out sooner rather than later just how good Covey Christ is.
I've got, like I said, big plans for 2019. A lot of people that I want to wrestle. A lot of places I'd like to wrestle, and a lot of tests that I've got to put myself through.
Like you said, a lot of people you want to wrestle. Like anybody? Can you name some names who you like to go 1-on-1 with? Personally, I like to see you against. We mentioned it before. Kobe Durst would be great. I would love to see you against Myron Reed. Would be a great match.
Yeah.
I think. But anybody on your mind that you're thinking I'd like to step in the ring with?
Top of my list is Tyson Dukes.
Okay.
That's numero uno. Obviously, he's the godfather of Canadian wrestling at this point in time. So, he was one of my trainers. So he's somebody who I have to get in a ring with.
Okay.
Same thing with Johnny Devine. I trained by Johnny. He's a guy who tested me a lot as a young man, who developed me into being the man that I am. And, somebody who I owe a lot of stiff shots back in return to, so I'd like to step in a ring with Johnny. Aiden Prince, Holden Albright, Josh Alexander, Tarek, Sebastian Suave, Marco Estrada, Tarek, Stu Grayson, hell, Warhead. I want to beat the shit out of Warhead. I want to step between the ropes with the hardcore icon of Ontario, and stab him between the eyes. That's what I'd like to do. I'd like to team up with Caitlin Diamond again, Diamond and Christ. We've got to get back together. That'd be solid. Down in the States, Tomahawk. There's a guy that I'd like to wrestle that I haven't had a chance to.
Okay.
That's another guy that I'd like to step in the ring with. Yeah, there's a lot of bodies in 2019 that I've got to wrestle. Even locally, like Cody Blade, I've only had a chance of being in the ring with a few times, and I know that we would tear houses down together.
Yep.
And Big T, Casey McKay,
another
couple of guys locally that I'd like to work. Yeah.
Speaking of Casey McKay, he's coming on. I was going to interview him tonight, but just not working out for me, so he's coming on tomorrow night. So I will we'll be interviewing Casey McKay tomorrow. Looking forward to it. And of course, you recommended Big T, and Big T's coming on in January. So I'll be talking to both those guys. So I'm looking forward to them.
They're both amazing people and both good brothers. Good brothers.
Yeah,
sure.
They both had a great match for the VIP title. That was
They're insane human beings. Yeah.
Yeah. So 2019 is definitely going to be the year of Covey Christ then.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. And speaking of countries, I know you said you'll wrestle anywhere, but do you have a preferred country you'd like to maybe get to, like Mexico or Japan? I think you'd be great in Japan. But have you thought about countries that you would like to get to in 2019?
That's a long list, actually. Like Ireland, England, Germany, Japan, China, India, South Africa, Mexico. I can't think of if there's wrestling in that country, I want to be there. I want to be there. I want to see the sights. I want to meet the people. I want to train with the people. I want to learn from them. My goal in wrestling is to be the best in the world, and so that includes learning from everyone that I can possibly learn from. So any place that I can get to would be massive.
All right, man. That's how old are you right now, if I may ask? I'm going to say about 27, 28, but am I close? Am I off? Or?
No, I'm 32 years of age.
32.
Louis.
Okay, you're
sir.
You're young. I'm a lot older than you, so but no, you're still at a good young age.
Yes, sir.
You'll get there.
Many years ahead of me.
Yep, you have many years ahead of you, man. Before we wrap this up, I just want to. I didn't know you were a musician. I saw the video you posted. I think it was 5 years ago. I think you were playing a little coffee house. You were a lot skinnier back then, of course. Is that, if you weren't wrestling, is that the profession that you were gonna go after, is be a musician?
No, not at all. I was set for law school out of high school. I was set for McGill University in Montreal to do pre-law there. Then I just decided pro wrestling was my best bet. The thing that I loved the most, the thing that I was most passionate about. I never played a musical instrument in my life until I was 21 after the concussions.
Okay.
And I only picked up an instrument. I was homeless in London, Ontario, sleeping on the couch of a couple of my good buddies, Andrew Gregg and Adam Weiss,
Okay.
who would put me up. And they're incredible musicians. Like, they're career musicians. Like, they're guys who could play in bands for the rest of their lives touring the world. Shout out Andrew Gregg and Adam Weiss. They put me up. Redmond McDougall was there, another amazing career musician from Cape Breton. And they took care of me for a little bit, taught me how to play music. And it was a way of me, when I traveled across Canada, busking and making a few bucks when I was in towns. Because with the concussions, I couldn't work full time, and so I needed to make a couple of bucks here and there to be able to feed myself and afford moving on.
Okay.
And so playing guitar was literally just a way of feeding myself at first. I enjoyed playing it. I love singing. And just so happened that when I got back to Cape Breton, I played some shows, recorded myself onto an album for our university radio station, and played a bunch of coffee houses and local shows and bars before my rheumatoid arthritis set in.
All right, man. Can I ask how did you? I might have asked the last time. I just can't remember. But how you got the concussions? Did you want to talk about that, or is that something you don't want to talk about?
Oh no, that's fine. Most of them are through hockey.
Okay.
Like I played hockey for 18 years.
Okay.
And so a lot of them were, errant sticks to the head, pucks to the head, getting slammed. I was a goalie, and
Okay.
I'm a really dumb goalie, and so I put myself in the way of a lot of situations that I shouldn't.
Okay.
And so that led to a lot of injuries. I suffered a couple through wrestling. I took a power bomb off the top rope when I was younger. That was really dumb. I didn't bump properly at all. Snapped my head back. That was a real bad one. And my last one was working at a bar. I was bouncing someone out of the bar when I shouldn't have. I wasn't a bouncer at the time, and the dude that I was taking out was very easy, but his friends were not, and they beat the living shit out of me.
Oh no!
And so I suffered a really bad concussion that night, and got to watch the biggest bar fight I've ever witnessed, which was like 500 to 600 people throwing fists at each other on a dance floor, and that was. I was under a table with my eye almost hanging out, and I was crying because I lost my hat.
Okay.
I was really sad because it was my favorite hat. And so I was sitting under a table, holding my eye into my head.
Oh, gosh.
Freaking out with my worst concussion. I was
crap.
21 years of age and watching like 500 people fighting in front of me.
Where was this? Where did this take place?
That was in Windsor.
That was in Windsor. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to leave Windsor.
Yeah.
I just moved down here.
No, Windsor's a lot different than it used to be. It was, with the motor companies working as hard as they were back when I was first there was a lot of money in Detroit and a lot of 19-year-olds coming over into Canada to get drunk.
Okay.
And, our bar that I worked at would usually fill up with about 1,000 people on a Friday or Saturday night.
Okay.
And probably 70% of them were Americans who couldn't cross back over the border that night. They had to stay in Canada.
Okay.
And so they would get way too drunk because they're 19 and not used to drinking Canadian beer. And they would start fighting. And it was really, really interesting. I made a lot of money during those weekends. But it was really fun. Like we had pillow fights on Friday nights at that bar, where they would haul a bed out to the middle of the dance floor and girls would pillow fight on the bed.
Holy! Where was the bar? Was it near Riverside Drive, or where was the bar?
Right downtown. Just down from the corner of Wyandotte and Oulas.
Oh
so
yeah,
just go down past the Shoppers Drug Mart there.
Yeah.
You'll see a place called the Bull and Barrel now.
Okay.
And it used to be where the Bull and Barrel was.
Okay.
It isn't the Bull and Barrel, but it was a bar that used to be there.
Okay.
And it was the best time. I worked there for 3 years. It was an incredible bar. It was a lot of fun to work for. but it was the most ridiculous time of my life for sure.
So you're under the table. I'm just gonna have this image of you holding your eyeball on your head, man. So your eyeball would have fell out if you didn't hold your eyeball in your head.
No, it was puffing out of my head. Like I'd never been punched that many times in my eyeball before. That it swole out to the point where, like I was holding and pressuring onto my eyeball. I'd never experienced that kind of ass kicking. I think there was like 10 guys at one point in time just punching and kicking my face. And if it wasn't for my bouncer Nico, I probably wouldn't have crawled away from that situation.
Yeah, they're lucky.
So like props to Nico, props to Cannibal Cousins, props to all the bouncers at that bar, Big Ron, props to all the bouncers. They did their job. They're amazing dudes. Props to all the people who worked there. They were incredible. Like best job that I've ever had. But yeah, it was a wild time. Windsor was wild back then.
Okay, man. Well, they're lucky. Justin and Matt weren't living in Windsor at the time, and they were with you. They would have taken out all 10 of those guys that attacked you, man.
Oh, like I told you, the bouncers did a real good job. Most of the bouncers there were pro wrestlers training with Scott D'Amore, so most of the bouncers there were double tough. Okay,
man. Well, I'm glad you came out of that though. You're okay now, son. But if you ever come to Windsor, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It just knocked some sense into me, Lewis. That's all, bud.
Okay. Well, if you come back to Windsor and we're hanging out together, no one's gonna do that to you again. Not if I could help it, man. I'll have El Reverso and Aiden Prince with me, and we'll protect you, man.
That's all I need to hear, buddy.
Yeah, there you go, man. So that's it, man. I can't, I really appreciate, man, that you're coming on again. I'm a huge fan. I think you're so freaking talented. As I said before earlier, I'm a huge Covey Christ fan, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. Like I said, I think it's gonna be sooner than later that the world is gonna know exactly who Covey Christ is, man. And I wish you nothing but the best of luck in the future. And you ever want to come back, man, all you have to do is ask, man.
Dude, Lewis, anytime, man. Thank you so much for having me on again. And I can't wait till the next one, brother.
Yeah, and I want to, again, thank you for helping me get all that great Atlantic Canada talent that's coming on in the future. I really appreciate you putting a good word in for me with them.
They're all good people, and so are you, brother.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that, man. Well, that's it. I am Lewis Carlin. This is Tapped Out Interviews. Again, I want to thank my incredible guest, Covey Christ, who's returning today. Another terrific conversation with him. Looking forward to the next one. And until the next time, thank you very much, everyone. Take care. Bye-bye. And stay safe, everyone. So long. Bye-bye.